Once I have all of my selections refined and I copy and paste them over onto my background picture, then I'll want to start arranging them and placing them. So if you look here, I have them all on separate layers. I'm going to go to my arrow tool to move them around. Photoshop automatically has this option checked when you're in the arrow tool. And what that means is when you click on an object, it automatically tries to find that layer for you. The only problem is sometimes if things are buried, it's hard to reach them. So sometimes I turn this option off, but you can leave it on if it's easier, and it'll just automatically go to the layer that you want to select. If it's selecting the wrong layer, you may have to go up here and turn it off and go to the layer you want to select. But when you go to a layer on this option with this unselected, the only thing that's going to move is whatever's on that layer. So I have to go to each layer in order to move these things. So basically now I just want to get these in place. For my concept for my surreal scene, I'm making a statement on captivity. So I'm going to have my polar bears literally trapped in a jar, this artificial kind of scene and life for them inside this mason jar. I'm really exaggerating and driving home that concept by playing with scale and proportion. Like these little bears wouldn't normally fit in a mason jar. And it's a very artificial landscape, like the fake snow, the fake tree. And it's meant to look artificial to really drive home the meaning behind it, that, you know, animals are often placed in these artificial environments. And then I'm kind of like giving that feel of when, you know, kids like they store bugs and stuff and trap things in jars when you're younger. It's kind of like taking these bears and putting them in an environment like that. So what I'm going to do is go to each layer or go to each object and adjust it. So Control T, and I'm just going to play with the size. Eventually I will have to change the tone and the darkness, things like that. So I'm just going to get this in place. Hit enter anytime you Control T. So I'll eventually probably have to change these a bit, but I'm just going to try to get them in place as best as I can. I want these polar bears to be similar sizes. This guy's much darker, but we'll change that. He's going to be in the jar. You can see when I selected him, I didn't get the bottom of his feet, but it's kind of working in my advantage here because it looks like he's standing in the snow. I'm going to go here to this guy, and I'm going to be picking him up. So I might have to kind of play with him to start blending him. I'm going to Control T so I can see his little head. Right click. Come on. Control T, right click, and flip horizontally. And then I can kind of move him as well. I can rotate him. So now that everything's in place, I'm going to start to blend these and show you some ways to do that.